All right, this continues section 7.3. We're looking at higher powers of binomial products. So in this next one, we're looking at 5 minus c to the fourth power. Well, remember that this looks like 5 minus c times 5 minus c times 5 minus c times 5 minus c. What you don't want to confuse is that this would mean 5 to the fourth power minus c to the fourth power. I see that a lot from students, and it is absolutely incorrect. Now from here, what I can see is that this is 5 minus c quantity squared, and so is that. So I can square that quite simply, because I'm going to take my first term and square it, right? 25. My middle term is going to be the product of the terms, 5 times c times 2, so 10c. And then plus, and then my last term squared, so c squared. And of course, that is also going to be the same thing, 25 minus 10c plus c squared. Now, because sometimes it confuses us a little bit to have the constant first and the variable last, we can make this look like c squared minus 10c plus 25 as well, right? And that makes it less confusing for us. And I'm multiplying that thing by itself, aren't I? So I'm going to be multiplying it by c squared minus 10c plus 25. And I can use long multiplication in order to get that accomplished. So 25 times 25, that's 625, and then 25 times negative 10, which is negative 250, and that's c, and then 25 times c squared, which is 25c squared. And then moving over into my first degree terms, negative times a positive is a negative 250c. And then negative times a negative is a positive, and 10 times 10 is 100, and c times c is c squared. And then negative times a positive is a negative, and 10 times 1 is 10, and c squared times c, which is c cubed. And then moving over one more place, c squared times 25 is 25c squared, so plus 25c squared. And then we have c times negative 10, so we have c squared times negative 10c, so negative 10c, and squared times c, which gives us third power c. And then last but not least, c squared times c squared, and that's c to the fourth power, because when we're multiplying like bases, we add their exponents. And now we can go through and add them together. C to the fourth power adds with 0 to be c to the fourth power, minus 10 plus 10, which is 20, and that's c cubed. And then 25 plus 100 plus 25, which is 150, and those are c squareds. And then a negative 250 and a negative 250, which is a negative 500c, and then plus 625. And there's our final answer. And as you see, it's much easier to do this with the long multiplication rather than trying to string out 9 different terms and try to find which ones are alike. Now that leads us to our last one here, and we have a binomial squared again times a binomial. So we're going to square out this first term squared, product of the two terms, 2x times 2, which is 4x, and then last term squared, which is 4. And then we're multiplying that by x minus 1, so we can again do polynomial times polynomial. So negative times a positive is a negative 4 times 1. Negative times a positive is a negative 4x. Negative times positive is a negative x squared. Moving over, 4 times 1 is 4x. 4x times x is a 4x squared, and then x squared times x, which is an x cubed. And adding these together, we have a negative 4, a 0 there, a 3x squared there, and finally plus an x cubed there. And finally, it's going to be your turn. So you may want to go ahead and copy these problems down and then come back and watch them in the next video.